On the second half of this show, we head out on location to visit a ride check in the town of Newmarket. But first, we head to the studio to talk to the York Region chapter of MADD Canada. Hello everyone, I'm Don Pratt, host of a show here on Rogers TV where we give you a perspective of police in your community. Welcome to Policing York Region. I've had the opportunity this morning of sitting down with Kathy Mitchell, who is the president of the York Region chapter of MADD Canada. Kathy, thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Good morning.
So, good morning. Could you tell us a bit about MADD Canada? What does MADD Canada represent?
MADD Canada branches across all of Canada, and their mission is to stop impaired driving and support victims of the violent crime.
Right, and so, but MADD is broken into, you said, into chapters, is that it?
Yeah, every area across Canada, not every area, but most, have chapters or community leaders. So there's people that are out there trying to spread the awareness of impaired driving.
Right, and we're learning through this program, anyways. We're learning all too often how much impaired driving is a challenge in our region. Right, it's very unfortunate, but so supporting the victims of impaired driving. How do you go about that?
We reach out. We try and offer support, attend court with them if possible, sort of prepare them for what they're going to see in the courtroom, what they're going to be faced with, hand them a Kleenex when they need it.
You're kind of just along their side as you're offering that support that obviously they're in an unfamiliar territory.
Definitely,
and this is an area where you can be helpful.
Yeah, and also MADD Canada puts on every year in April a conference, and it brings together victims of impaired driving, people who have been injured, people who have lost a loved one, and our chapter strives to send any victim from our region that needs that kind of help and support. It's not a cheap weekend.
No, I'm sure.
So that's something we concentrate an awful lot on fundraising to raise those funds so that there is no victim who can't attend that weekend with our assistance.
Fantastic. No, it's great that you're helping to coordinate that. And earlier we were talking about some of the partnerships that, in particular, the York Region chapter has. Can you talk about some of those partnerships?
First and foremost, York Region Police. Absolutely fantastic support from them. A police liaison is at our chapter meeting every month.
Fantastic.
Financially, the support from the services board for events.
Right.
Accessibility to a boardroom once a month. Just amazing.
Yeah, I understand it is a very healthy relationship.
Very, and we also have great support from the OPP as well.
Oh, good.
Same thing, a liaison with us, and just there to guide us and support us. Great sounding board on logistics and things like that. We also have community partnership. There's a group of a motorcycle group, York Simcoe Riders.
Yes.
For this year, they hosted their 18th poker run in May for us.
Yeah, I think we've seen where they presented you with a check.
So they.
This is a picture of the riders here.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of their members had lost a cousin to an impaired driver, which brought our partnership together. But it's just wonderful. A fantastic group of people, and every year they host this amazing event, and it definitely helps.
All for a worthwhile cause.
Definitely helps us out. And then we've developed in the last couple of years a partnership with 105.9 The Region.
Great.
And so we've had some great 30-second segments, some
Yes.
interviews, and Jim Lang, their morning host,
Yes.
is our co-chair of our golf tournament.
Oh, great. And the golf tournament is another fundraiser?
Definitely a fundraiser, yeah. It's usually run in August, and through that we've developed some great support as well with sponsorships
this is
and everything.
Some of the golf tournament that we
Yeah,
have up
that's
there.
some of the amazing prizes that were donated for our silent auction.
Fantastic.
Deputy Chief Creek always comes out and has
great.
some inspirational words for
Yes,
us.
he's a great speaker.
Yeah. So it's
And I know he is a personal fan and supporter of MADD.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's great. Yeah.
Fantastic. And some of the other fundraisers or partnerships that you have.
We're community partnerships. We're at the
Right.
Safety Village.
Yes.
We are in the local high schools as much as we
Right.
can be.
Right.
We've been at the
And you came out and shared a table with the Keswick Community Policing
Yeah.
volunteers
Yeah,
at the Georgina Home Show last year.
and we've developed a partnership with Georgina Fire,
Yes.
and they helped us with our campaign 911 kickoff a couple years ago. We did that up at the Rock, and it was a big event.
Yes, that was a very well attended.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of boating safety awareness events as well. So we try and get out in the community as much as we can.
Yeah, I've seen your insignia on some of the boating signs.
Yeah.
MADD Canada, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great to be delivering that message, right? You were talking about Red Ribbon Campaign. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Every year, early November, heading into the holiday season, we kick off our Red Ribbon Campaign. This year, we'll be kicking it off again with York Region Police and the RIDE campaign. So it's a RIDE Red Ribbon kickoff. It's November 17th this year. And it's going to be at a high school in Thornhill, St. Elizabeth.
Right.
And we just try and get the message out.
Yes.
The red ribbon symbolizes awareness, and it also is an honor or a memorial to victims.
And this is the ribbon that we would see tied to people's antennas and door handles.
Yeah, and unfortunately, cars aren't, having antennas anymore. So I encourage people to tie it to your windshield or to your door handle. But when we are in the high schools, we tell the students, put it on your backpack, put it on a key ring, put it somewhere that it's going to remind you to make a wise choice.
Yeah, of course. And can you tell us a bit about your story? There was a reason that you became so heavily involved in MADD Canada.
In August 11th, 2011, my niece was killed by an impaired driver.
It's very sad.
And the support that my family received from MADD Barrie Simcoe chapter was remarkable.
Right.
And through that, I thought, you know what? This is something that's not going away, unfortunately, and this is something I want to give back as well.
So this is an area where you feel like you can make a difference.
I hope to make a difference.
And you do. I mean, the awareness is certainly there. I mean, I was part of the, when we were at the Georgina Home Show, and I heard much about it afterwards. There was definitely a message delivered. Yeah,
and just to be able to assist somebody who's faced this tragedy.
Yeah.
Even if a smile can make a minute of their tragic time a little bit easier.
Right.
It's unbelievable what just a hand on your shoulder can
of course. Yeah, just that bit of support, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We talked a little bit about numbers earlier, when we were out with RIDE, we talked about some of the stats, and we were just astounded by the numbers that they were giving us and how many impaireds just in York Region.
Right.
Just in York Region. Well,
the general stats that you will hear from MADD Canada are that 4 people are killed on our roads every day and that 174 are injured.
Wow.
So those are the stats that we are faced with daily. But as far as York Region policing have gone, and the numbers from the OPP as well, I was saying to you earlier that I had heard coverage on a radio station, and it was about a year ago, and they were giving numbers of Toronto and Peel and York, and the numbers that York Region were posting for impaireds were alarming, that there are that many people that are driving impaired. But to turn it into something positive, it's absolutely amazing. It shows that the how driven the YRP are to get these impaired people off the road.
So part of it is testament to their diligence in working to, again, reduce impaired driving everywhere.
Yes.
We'd like to use the word eliminate impaired driving everywhere, but I guess for now they're doing the best that they can with it, right?
They definitely are. And to that, to know that, don't be afraid to make that 911 call if you're driving down the road and you feel that somebody may be impaired. Make that call, because even if you're wrong, you may be right.
And that is an important message to deliver, and we've delivered it before, but when you're driving, of course, you're not supposed to be using your cell phone, but you are encouraged to use your cell phone if you think that there's an impaired driver.
Definitely.
You are encouraged. Obviously in a safe manner. We're not encouraging anybody to be unsafe. But, and you were saying that that's a large part of why you're, of the calls that come in are...
Yeah, the numbers are very high. A lot of, the RIDE program definitely sends a message. The RIDE program definitely does catch impaired drivers. But there are a lot of impaireds that are caught because of that.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Not just for coming on the show, but for what you do.
Thank you.
Great value.
Thanks.
That wraps up this segment. Stick around. We're going to head out with the ride. In this segment, we head out to the streets of Newmarket with the ride truck. But first, we meet up with Sergeant Van Would at headquarters to talk a bit about the ride program. Welcome back, everyone. I'm standing here with Sergeant Mark Van Would from the York Regional Ride Program. Mark, thanks, first of all, for being here. And can you walk us through the ride program and just what it is and what it offers to York Regional Police?
Sure, not a problem, Don. So kind of with the festive season coming upon us, the York Regional Police is committed to trying to reduce impaired driving within York Region. Part of that is operating a mobile ride program throughout the region at all different days. It includes the mobile ride van that comes out with us, as well as mobile support by officers at the district that we're at, as well as assigned to the Traffic Enforcement Bureau. Part of the ride program is trying to identify areas that impaired drivers could be traveling through our region, and that is increased patrols by both uniform officers as well as traffic management.
So this is something that's basically set up by your officers, by your unit?
That's correct.
And it's supported by the individual districts?
That's correct.
And where we are right now, of course, this is where you house your equipment?
That's right. So we're located at 47 Don Hillock in the town of Aurora. This is where we have all our mobile support. The ride truck is here. It's make sure that it's in working order before it goes out actually operational on the roads.
Of course, very important, right? It has to be operational. And so how often is RIDE deployed? I mean, we talk about, particularly this time of year, as you were saying, coming into the holiday season, it's considered the festive ride season. But it's not just about this time of year?
No, York Regional Police is committed to, like I said, reducing impaired driving within the region. Traffic enforcement officers will conduct RIDE, both mobile and command center driven, 365 days of the year. Those officers are stationed within the Traffic Enforcement Bureau, and they organize within different areas or different regions within the region on all the night shifts.
That's fantastic. So this is actually something that continues all year round. and it's obviously it's of huge benefit.
That's correct.
Looking forward to getting out on the road with you tonight.
For sure.
And let's go see what happens with Ride.
That's what we'll see.
We'll see you out there.
How are we doing tonight?
Good, great.
Nothing all to drink?
No, just been rolling from there.
All right, well, have a drive safe. Take care now. All right.
We're back with Sergeant Van Wold, and he's just set up a ride spot check in Northern New York region. Mark, walk us through what it is you have set up here.
Okay. So tonight we've operating a ride spot check in the area of town of Newmarket.
Right.
We've brought our operational mobile ride command center,
Okay.
like we talked about before, that actually has the necessary technology in it, so
Right.
they can do tests and such actually on site.
Okay.
As you see behind us, we've also got a number of officers, both within the traffic enforcement unit
Okay.
and members of one district here assisting us. And they're going to be investigating any type of vehicle that comes through this spot check.
Right.
We've narrowed the area so that drivers can perform their driving through it safely, and officers will spend time speaking with those drivers and investigating whether they are potentially involved with drugs or alcohol impairing their operation.
Obviously, safety is paramount, as you indicated.
That's right.
You're slowing traffic down.
That's right. So we've got an area up here, well lit. Officers have reflective gear on, as well as using flares, cones, and the reflective lighting that's on the vehicles.
Okay. So what are we seeing in as a result of some of these ride spot checks?
Well, what we're seeing is that between January 1st of 2016 and November of this year, there's been roughly over 980 impaired related offenses that York Region Police have investigated.
That's an incredible amount.
Right, right. And as a result of that, there's usually about 80%
Right.
of charges that are relating from those offenses
Yes.
into the courts. And what we're also seeing is 40% of those offenses that we're
Yes.
actually investigating
Right.
involve other criminal acts, whether it's drug offenses or stunt driving.
Okay. Right. Those are staggering numbers.
Right, right. You know, it's an ongoing battle that all of society is actually looking and taking upon on themselves.
Right.
They're using all different ways to try to combat the message of drinking and driving.
Sure.
We're also seeing that about 35% of those people that are being investigated
Yes.
are between the ages of 21 and 35 years old.
Wow.
That's the main target area that people are actually
young
seeing.
family age.
That's right.
Wow,
That's right.
that's terrible.
But I think if you see that type of behavior, then they're also utilizing whether it's social media
Right.
or other public announcements that are out there, partnerships that we have in the community with
Sure.
MADD York Region and such,
Sure.
trying to get that message
Yeah,
out.
so we were talking about that. I mean, Ride is certainly a very powerful tool that you use, and,
Right.
and we hope, of course, that it curbs or helps make a difference. But that's not the only tool you use.
That's right. We've got ways that the citizens of York Region can report suspected impaired drivers.
Right.
Your ride, your call.
Of course.
Right. So this is a way that citizens of York Region, if they're out and suspecting of an impaired driver,
Okay.
they can call York Regional Police to report it.
Okay.
Like we say, we always report to the members of the public
Okay.
to do it safely,
Of course.
that they can use their mobile device if they're utilizing it to report for 911 emergencies.
Okay.
but
So it's not an offense if you use your cell phone to report an impaired driver.
It's not an offense to use your handheld device if you were calling 911 to
Right.
report an act to the
Okay.
police. We always suggest to make the best, safest way to do it is to pull over if you can in a safe position and provide that information to the police or the dispatcher, trying to find out the make, the model, the direction of travel, and any
Of
other
course.
pertinent information that the police can react upon to try to find that driver.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for walking us through some of the initiatives that you have going on within the Traffic Enforcement Unit.
Sure.
And now we're going to hop onto the ride truck and have a chat with Constable Andrew Milliard from Traffic Unit as well.
Anything to drink at all tonight? Nothing at all? Perfect. Have a great night. Drive safe.
We're chatting with Constable Andrew Milliard, who's also a part of the ride unit. And Andrew, thanks for taking the time out to chat with us. And can you walk me through what your role is with the ride unit?
Yeah, absolutely, Don. So my role in the ride unit as a qualified intoxilizer operator basically is what we do is we're going to set up at a specific location, how we are tonight.
Right.
And we're going to be conducting ride. We're going to be speaking to drivers.
Okay.
Of course, we're going to be trying to detect if they've had any alcohol tonight.
Right.
If they have had any alcohol tonight, we're going to be pulling them aside for further testing.
Okay.
Now, if there are signs of impairment by alcohol, then they would be arrested for impaired driving.
Right.
Now, if there are not any signs, but there is still odor of alcohol on them, we could make a demand that they provide a breath sample through a approved screening device, roadside. Okay. Now, a couple things can happen there. Either they can blow under the legal limit, which they would be released. They could blow a warning.
So this is a device that's on the truck behind you?
This device would be an approved screening device, which is we would operate roadside as opposed to the truck.
Okay.
Now, they could blow a warning, which could result in a 3-day suspension, a 7-day, or a 30-day suspension.
Okay.
Depending if they've had any previous suspensions.
Right.
Okay. And then from that point, if they did get suspended, then their vehicle would be removed and their license obviously returned to the ministry and they'd be suspended. Now, through the approved screening device, if they do register a fail, at that point they would be arrested. And then that's the point that we would proceed into the truck. And that's why we bring the truck.
There's different stages to this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's why we bring the truck, because basically what the truck is a mobile office. What we're able to do is provide a secure area for the individual to contact duty counsel or a lawyer of their choice. There is a private washroom in there also.
Okay.
We're able to conduct breath testing with an Intoxilizer 8000C, which would give us the breath readings of the individual.
Okay.
And after we get those readings, depending on what they are, the person might be charged or might not, depending on the circumstances and the level of the readings. And we can release them from the scene, pending obviously getting them home safe. And if that's not an option, then they would be transported back to a police station where they would be held until they're sober.
Right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us, and we'll carry on with the roadside.
Stop there for me, please.
Sure.
Hey, we're just doing a ride checkpoint here today.
Okay.
Just make sure no one's drinking or driving. Have you have anything to drink this evening?
I'm just coming from one of my work Christmas parties. I've had a couple, but I'm fine.
Okay, I can smell it on you there quite a bit. Do you have your documents for the car?
Yeah, I do. They're right in here. You want me to get them out? Sure.
Okay, would you be able to do me a favor? Can you just pull over just in front here, and I'll just do a quick roadside with you. And
just
we'll
right here?
Yeah, just over on the side here, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, ma'am. Like I mentioned before, we're going to have you come back with me and blow in the roadside device. I just have to read you our formal demand here before we go back there, okay? All right. I demand that you provide a sample of your breath into an approved screening device to enable a proper analysis of your breath to be made, and that you accompany me now for the purpose of taking the sample. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. You just hop on out there. We'll go back to the car. Got the device in the car there. Okay there?
Yeah.
Can you just hang out here for me for a moment, please? Thanks. Okay, just to let you know, I just turned on the cameras, so everything from here on in is audio and video recorded, okay? So this is our approved screening device. I'm gonna get you to blow in this. It's one long continuous breath. I'll encourage you to keep going, and when I tell you to stop, you can stop, okay?
Okay.
So you understand? Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, you're good. Just analyzing the results here. Okay, looks like you failed, okay? So right now you're under arrest for having excess blood alcohol, okay? Put your arms behind your back.